To tell my YouTube the story about my worst roommate experience of my life. But I got this. It was on sale for half price, so I snatched it from Pat McGrath. And I bought my sister a brown because that's my favorite color to wear, and then I got this, and I just want to cover my face in this. My entire face like this. In first year university, I was walking the road of life, and I decided I need to get ready for second year university because my friends got a house and it wasn't pet friendly. So I was just like, that sucks. So then I decided I need to find a pet friendly house. I want to live downtown Guelph because I don't like the suburbs of Guelph because there's nothing to do. Like, it's not like you can just like, well, I guess you could walk to the, like there was like, in the suburbs there's like little areas where you can walk to like the gas station. So I had it in my head, downtown Guelph is where I gotta get a place. And basically I needed to find a place that was pet friendly. Second of all, I needed to find a place that didn't already have pets, because Molly is an antisocial mofo. Like, if there's another pet there, she will crawl under the bed and not come out. So basically, it was really hard for me to do. So there was a place I found that they acted like they have a lot of choices and they'll think about it, and then they got back to me and they're like, we pick you. And I was like, fabulous. And they're like, let's go out. And I was like, okay, where do you want to go out? And they're like, Trappers. And I was like, if anyone knows Trappers, Trappers is the type of place that there will be girls walking around with their skirts ridden up to their bra and they don't even notice. And I was like, yeah, let's go to Trash Purse. Sure. So, well, basically I went over to the house to hang out with these girls. They had like 2 or 3 random girls there. They had a girl who lived there but was moving out but already had a sublet. And then they had the girl that I was replacing, whose name is Rachel. So Rachel and I start chatting, and we really start getting together, hanging out. I started being like, this girl is so cute, so nice, so drunk. So I'm trying to be like appropriate. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to be doing my makeup. So I'm trying to be very appropriate that night because, you know, it's my first night hanging out with these girls and I wanted to, you know, scope out the scene. Even though I scoped out a lot, I still ended up living with them. I don't understand myself, but point is that I wasn't getting too drunk. I had like 2 drinks or whatever, and we head out. And so while we're heading out, Rachel's like holding my hand. We're walking, she's stumbling and tripping and fumbling. And we get to Trappers, and at the door, me and Rachel are last in line, and the 4 or 5 girls are like in the doorway about to walk up the stairs, and they look behind us and the guy's going, oh, you can't come in, you're messed up. And I'm like, shit. And then she's like, it's okay, I'll walk home. And I'm like, okay, and I'll go home with you and then I'll get an Uber back to my res. And like, cause like the walk from downtown to their house was through like a couple very dark and quiet streets. If she got abducted on her walk home, like I'm just like, I just think that way. I'm like, no, you're not walking. Anyways, point is that I'm sure these girls knew that They made the walk all the time. They were like, okay, bye, drunkie. Go home. Get it. And I was like, I'm coming with you. So, and also, you know what, now that I'm thinking about it, I already said, it's fine, we'll go to a different bar. Because I was hanging out with her. She was fine. She was cool, whatever. And there was like another bar right across the street. So, but it was like literally like, okay. So if you imagine, you know how every downtown has like the crossroads, like the main section, intersection? Well, we were crossing that to go to the bar that is at the main intersection. We're crossing the street and this girl trips and drops all her stuff. Everything. Lip gloss is rolling this way. Her money is everywhere. And all the cars in the intersection are stopped and she sits down. She's done. And I'm just like, oh my God, Rachel. And so I pick up everything and I'm like, up, and I'm like hoisting her money up. Let's go. And so we get everything. The cars are like rolling down their windows and they're like, go home. And I'm like, I know. So basically we went to this bar. I'm pretty sober, but I was having a very good time. But I'm like texting and calling my future roommates and telling them, your friend and I are at this bar, why don't you guys come here? If the whole point of this outing was to hang out with me, then why don't you come hang out with me? I literally didn't see anything wrong with Rachel other than the fact that she was having a really bad night. But she wasn't psycho or anything, she was just hammered. It's no big deal. So yeah, we were vibing or whatever. Who cares? There was like, point is those girls, my future roommates, ditched us. And they had their own fun on their own time. And I never really got to even hang out with them. I hung out with the girl that I was replacing. So I was like, that's cool. We're not gonna be friends. I just need the room. I got a job at one of the bars, so I would do like a 5 to 8 and I was hostessing. And then I'd come back and do the, charge the cover at the door for the bar, like the upstairs club. So it was actually it was like a gay club. Like we got a lot of trans people, like people that would, or maybe they weren't trans, maybe they were actually drag queens, like they dress up for the night, or maybe they were actually trans, but they were old. And then they'd leave with like, one guy like came in and then 20 minutes later he left with like a really, really skinny, tiny college student, and I thought it was cute, but I was a little worried. But it was fun working there. But my point is that I'd come home really, really, really late. Yeah, so one night I came home at 3 a.m. after they had gone to Trappers, and I stepped in something in the carpet, right? On my way to the shower. Like, it was like directly outside the bathroom, and I was like, ew, there's like some wet stuff on the floor. Can you guess? Because I didn't. But I'm sure they had like an 8 a.m. class or something the next day. Yeah, or like it was like a Friday morning and I had to work on, I don't know. Either way, they had class super early in the morning, and I hear her and my 2 roommate girls come in, and they're like, ah, I still haven't cleaned up the puke off the carpet yet. And the other girl's like, oh my God, do it. And then she's like, oh my God, I'm just like so lazy. Should I? Bitch, I stepped in that after working for like 8 hours. Fuck you. I was smoking a lot of weed, right? I don't smoke anymore because it was actually like one of those, like I was like addicted to like tobacco and weed, so I don't do that. I like quit like a year ago. Ooh. Guys, I have this blush. The Fenty cream blush. I got the purple one because it was the, well, honestly, all the rest of them were sold out. But I sort of wanted it anyways. Like, look how it comes out. I think it looks really good. So, this is where everything starts to get weird. So I'd come home from school, because I wouldn't smoke before school, but when I was done school, I would, like, literally be on the bus, like, have you guys ever seen that meme where you call your weed and you're like, get dressed, I'm coming home? That was me. I was like, I'm going home. So I'd be on the back porch with my bong or whatever. And anyway, so a lot of times I would come home and the bong wouldn't be where I left it. Like, can you just not touch my stuff? So I ended up being like, trying really nicely to tell them, like, can you not touch my stuff? And then it went sour real fast. Anyway, so I started like finding like the pieces to my bong. Like, I'd come home and the piece to my bong was like lodged in the couch, but my bong was like in my room. And I was like, why are you taking my bong apart and hiding pieces of it? And then they started having parties. And they had one party, they would invite really, really weird guys. Like, one time this guy came into my room and got into my bed. And he was like saying to me that my cat was so cute, my cat is so cuddly, my cat is so perfect. And I don't know if he was hitting on me, if he was like, just like, why? He was in my bed. Mind you, I didn't even make it into October. Like, I dropped out of school at the beginning of October before, like, I dropped out before the tuition was final. Like, before I had to pay my tuition. That's how early I dropped out. This is the real good story. So, I was on my way to my home, like, for my best friend's birthday this night, September 20th. And, so, I was outdoors. I was, like, seshing a bunch because I was just gonna take a bus ride all the way, like an hour and a half bus ride. So I was just like gonna be super stoned for it. So I'm just like smoking or whatever, and they're having this fucking party at like 4 p.m. And this dude comes upstairs onto the deck. Like, the house was on a hill, so like there was like this huge fucking field, and then there was like this huge staircase up to this deck. It felt like a tree house on the deck. And so this guy comes up to the deck and he's like, hey, can I smoke out of your bong? And I'm like, do you have weed? Because if he said no, here's the thing about me, is if he said no, can I smoke one from yours? I would have said yeah. But I'm not just gonna be like that person that's like, yeah, for sure. Here's my weed. No, anyways, I shouldn't have to explain myself, but this is crazy what happened. He looks at me like this. Like, he was like, the nerve of this bitch. And he pours his beer on me. He poured his beer on me. Oh, and there were like a bunch of guys at the table too. And I literally was like, get out of my house. get off my property. Like that too. And he was like, no. And I was like, yeah, you have to leave. Like, grab your shit and get out. And he was like, seriously? You're gonna be like that? And I'm like, yeah, get the fuck out. And everyone was like silently sitting there. And then after, like, he actually stormed out. Like, he didn't even put up more of a fight, but he did storm out. And then some guy who was like his friend and that had known him, and oh, here's the bad part, is that apparently they had come a really long ways. Like, they didn't live in Guelph. And I don't know where he went, like, to a local Tim Hortons, drunk as fuck. Like, I don't know, like, I don't know. But either way, oh my god, the story gets so bad. So then I told the girl, okay, so this dude that was there was like bitching about, oh, that's my best friend, like, why would you kick him out? Probably because of what you just witnessed happening. And then he's like, I get that he's a dick, but no need to be a bitch. And I was like, and then my friend came and we were gonna leave, so I just told him, and he was like, wow, you guys are fucked. And we just left, right? Leaving my cat. Also, they, like, the whole party was like fully guys. I don't understand, like, we were a house of girls, but the whole entire party was like all these dudes. Every party they had, it was just a bunch of dudes. Then, so I leave, and to my best friend's birthday we go, and then I slept over at her house and head home the next day. So then I get home, the house is fully empty because these girls would leave during the weekend, and I would be alone the whole entire weekend, which was nice, because fuck them. And, so I'm like, Molly, nothing. Go into my room, there's no Molly. So I start, like, crying. And then I'm like, Molly, and then I'm like actually I'm freaking out right now. I'm like, Molly, where are you? And I'm like, so I go into the two girls' rooms. And she's not in there. I go into the bathroom, I check the bathtub, I checked all of these cupboards, I checked everything, and then I go, okay, mind you, the girl who was never home. Like, she was usually at her cop boyfriend's house, like, practically living with him. She just needed to sublet the place for the semester. I don't understand why she needed to, but she was never, ever, ever there. So I didn't even know what her room looked like or anything. So I go into her room, and mind you, she wasn't there for the party, she wasn't there for anything. At that time, I was, like, I'm not even joking, like, it was like a scene from a horror movie when I was like, Molly! Like, screaming her name, and that's when she started scratching at the door, like, bitches locked her in the random girl's closet. I don't know if it's because they didn't want to, I don't know why they didn't want to lock her in my room if they were going to lock her anywhere. Though, like, I felt so horrible. Hi, baby. So, basically, I was like, fuck this. I haven't tried in school yet. All I want to do is smoke all the time. I, like, literally haven't done anything. I went to every single class, but I didn't understand. I wasn't listening. I didn't start my homework yet, and we were a month in, and I was like, I'm not paying my tuition and I'm not doing it. and I dropped out. Dropping out was a great idea because now I'm like a totally different person and I'm going back to school in September. And I'm gonna do great, so... Right, bumps? So yeah, horrible roommates 101. Don't room with dumb bitches. Friendless hoes. Oh, and guys, I forgot one part of the story that's gonna make you like fully understand, like make this story make so much more sense, is that these girls were born and raised in Oakville. Oakville. That's what I said. Oakville. You're welcome. One more thing to add to this story is that after I ended up moving out, I had to get a sublet for the last 6 months because I signed a 1-year lease. And I actually met up with this girl who DM'd, well, not DM'd me, she like emailed me, and she was like, she seemed so sweet. She seemed like a Tumblr girl, like awkward Tumblr, like cutie. And I was like, oh my god, totally. Like she no longer wanted to live with her mom. She was living with her mom in a 1-room apartment, and she was like, this apartment's perfect. And I was like, fuck yeah, you could have the apartment. So it turns out that it's all karma. I thought I picked a great girl, but she was actually a drunk. And they would find her multiple times a week on the front lawn, passed out in the morning, like from, would never pay for the toilet paper once. She would like steal, like she would use their shampoo if they left it. She literally did what they did to me, and there was nothing they could do because she was paying me and I was paying the landlord. Like, they were stuck with her until the lease was over. Pretty cool in my opinion. Yeah, so karma's a bitch.